Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to episode 37 of this vlog project. And before diving into the subject matter of today, which will be the HIT or the high intensity weightlifting program, just a little, review of what I've done so far. Before jumping into that, just a couple of quick housekeeping things. So first off, wanted to say a quick thanks to the two newest members of the tribe, Mr. Noah Russell and Miss Kay Woods. So first off, thank you guys for jumping in. It was a bit of a surprise to get a notification that a couple more people have jumped in, and I think the group is up to like 12 now, which again is pretty surprising and cool to think that, hey, after being at this for maybe a couple of months now, or a month and a half, that there's been, of the of the few dozen videos that I've put out, there's been enough here or there that people have just stumbled across, that they've enjoyed what I had to say and have chose to follow along. So for that, I'm super grateful of all 12 of you guys. And again, I hope to, like I was saying in the last episode, which, as I was just looking back and making sure I had the right episode number, went on for nearly an hour. Went on for 50 minutes. I was like, oh wow, okay, I can really ramble on and on. But as I had mentioned in the last episode, that hey, just to try and, I guess, provide maybe somewhat more of a thought out, and not even necessarily more thought out, but just to invest time in different places, I figured, hey, let's try once a week for the YouTube channel. Because again, as far as from following the Gary Vaynerchuk model, he he says that for business content, LinkedIn is the place to double down on. And then if you're just looking to grow a virtual network, TikTok and LinkedIn are the two places to invest your time right now, because there's so much organic reach. And while he probably, I don't know if like condone is the right word, but he would probably not say to invest a bunch of time into YouTube. But I think I like the idea of being able to go a little bit longer form. The the TikTok app is limited to between 15 seconds to a minute, and up to 3 minutes. But it's definitely a shorter form platform. And then LinkedIn is very much geared towards professional and business content, which I do put out a little bit of. I wouldn't necessarily call it content, but more just use it kind of like a professional Facebook, where I'm sharing some videos and whatnot. Anyway, before getting too far down that road, one more housekeeping item, because the inspiration for this particular video is from two gentlemen, one in particular, but two gentlemen that I have connected with on TikTok. One whose username is Jack Henry, and one whose username is Deadlifts and Dalmatians. And so I started posting updates after each workout that I would do. Just a little quick, hey guys, just hit legs, or hit knocked out workout number X, Y, or Z of the program. Feeling good or feeling not so good, or whatever it was in the moment. Just to kind of honestly, the biggest thing after the first couple was like, oh, it'll help keep myself accountable, because then every time I hit that workout and I can share it with the world, and I see that I'm kind of putting on paper one more notch in the belt, so that the last one was workout 11, and then a 12, and then hopefully by workout 120 or whatever it is, months and months down the line, if not years down the line, I can keep posting these updates, and then it'll be cool. It'll be like, wow, each one just had a little quick. It was memorialized in a little quick way. So, but all that being said, as I started doing it, it was really cool because I was able to connect with two gentlemen who are into this same style of lifting and have, I'm assuming, been at it much, much longer than I have. I know Jack Henry said, I forget if he said it was in his 60s or 70s, but, has been lifting for decades. And one comment exchange that we had, he mentioned that, he obviously, can't go super hard anymore. I don't remember exactly what it was, but that, hey, he's one of the best, looking guys, fittest guys on his block for his age. So that's awesome to hear. That's definitely the goal. And so all that being said, I think in my most recent TikTok post on the subject, something transpired where I thought, okay, cool. I want to do a bit more of a long-winded update just to share my progress with the program, my impressions and things like that, just to get a little deeper than the 15-second, hey, got it in today, moving on to the next thing. So if you don't care about lifting or fitness content, this may not be the video for you. But I'm hopefully going to try and direct those guys to this video, because again, we've exchanged a lot on the subject, and it's been pretty cool. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of maybe try and tackle two things with this, or I guess maybe three things. So I'm sure what's going to maybe come out a little bit is my my background and I guess my fitness background, then how the program has gone, and then if it seems like there's time, but given I'm usually so long-winded, obnoxiously so, I won't be surprised if maybe we don't get there. I may do a bit of a dive into the book, just to, for more experienced people who are listening in. This won't be anything new to you, but sometimes it's fun to just hear things from a different perspective again, or hear it over if you haven't picked up the program in a while. And then for people who haven't been exposed to this at all, it may just be a nice introduction. So I guess, maybe for starters, just to give some context, I kind of, as I was formulating, how this video might go, I thought, well, it might be worthwhile to give a bit of a context on my background, because then it'll make sense as I talk about my impressions with the program, who I am, so that you can take away, because I definitely don't want to act like an expert on any subject that I'm not an expert on. In this subject, I'm definitely not an expert, right? And like one thing I was gonna say as I kind of was gonna go through my numbers was like, yeah, I understand a lot of this is probably like noob or beginner gains or things like that, which it totally is. But I think it's worth mentioning that, hey, I grew up doing a fair amount of athletics, played basketball up until partway through junior year of high school, and I'm only like 5'8", barely, on a good day, and I was playing in Metro League in Seattle, which is probably, it may be a little ambitious to say one of the top leagues in the country, but it's a very good basketball league. The league sends a lot of players to definitely the collegiate level, and we've had guys like Peyton Siva. We've had recent guys who ended up in the NBA. So it's a pretty darn good basketball league here in Seattle, Washington. And so I was playing for not a great school, and honestly lost the drive and the work ethic to put myself in a position to be successful, which is hard to admit to yourself at that young age. But I got to that point in the road where I was like, hey, my vision for my life and all these things are going in a different direction. I don't necessarily see myself, you know, pursuing the dream and trying to go play D3 ball or whatever it is, and just getting in my own head that I hung up the shoes, and so ended up going into an Air Force program here at UW, and and so stayed relatively fit. Like I think I've always enjoyed just trying to stay in decent shape, but that involved a lot more kind of cardio, endurance, and running. A big piece of it was the fitness test for the Air Force has a 1.5 mile run, and it was worth the most points, and it was kind of the most tangible differentiating factor between, you know, me and my peers. And so I got way into running, and I got decently fast for someone who's just kind of a hobbyist, kind of in that, you know, 1 to 3 mile range. Just worked on speed in that range, and ran a lot. So I've always been just kind of a skinnier guy, and lots of calisthenics through that period of time. And I'd say, what was it, between, you know, between sophomore and junior year, got pretty dang, you know, fit as far as like running, endurance, and cardiovascular and calisthenics and things like that. So that was one period of time where, you know, I ran like a 5.5 minute mile, ran Green Lake, which is a 3 mile course, in like under 18 minutes, something like that. So very fit as far as like cardio went, at least for me. I'm sure there's other, that's not to say it's like a world-class level, but for me, I felt, you know, very in very good shape at that time. And then at the end of my junior year, or somewhere in there was maybe like a quarter, so like a good 3 months that I was started like in on weightlifting a fair amount, you know. And I was following, it was called the like Ice Cream Fitness like 5x5 program, something like that. And it was basically kind of like the strong lifts. It was, you know, I want to say 3 days a week, and it was 5x5s with all the big lifts. And, you know, I'm pretty sure every workout had squats. And, you know, again, being a kind of a, not a big, bulky, muscular guy, I felt like I put on a little bit of muscle, and was definitely feeling pretty good about myself, and pretty good about my progress at the time. But didn't stick with it, and had a few other kind of goes and a few other stints at, hey, a little bit of weightlifting here or there, trying to kind of pick it back up, and it just never really stuck. And I kind of wanted to mention all of that because I feel like it sort of is feeding into my new enthusiasm about this program. And I mean, there's a lot going on, but my new enthusiasm being that this to me feels like a very logical program, which in turn makes it feel very sustainable. And by that I just mean I remember with kind of the 5x5, the program that I was doing at that time, these workouts would take, you know, hours. Like it would be like a 2-hour workout, and it was 3 days a week, and each one had, you know, squats or deadlifts. And so I don't remember it super clearly because it's been a while, but I know that it ended up not being sustainable. You know, hey, maybe a lack of discipline on my part. But for me, after getting the way I was turned on to Mike Mentzer again was having listened to Dorian Yates on Joe Rogan, and then seeking out, okay, where can I find some material on this Mike Mentzer guy that he's talking about, and then listening to the couple of phone interviews that are on YouTube of him. And the minute you hear this guy talk, you're like, oh, this guy is a mad scientist when it comes to, you know, strength and bodybuilding and growing muscle. And so the program to me, it just appears at face value very sustainable, because again, it's not about breaking down your body and keeping it broken down 24/7, at all times. It's the high intensity thing, brief, infrequent, and intense. And so it's something I can get behind. You hit the gym hard. So I did one yesterday. It was legs, push hard on legs. And, they're quick, get in there 20 minutes, push it hard. I'm looking at my numbers from, pushing out my numbers from the previous time I did that workout, with the knowledge that, hey, I'm going to be taking a few days off. I'm going to give my body time to rest and recuperate and grow, and know that I don't have to leave any in the tank, because I will have plenty of days between now and the next one that I don't have to try and kind of save a little bit in the gas tank. So and then I guess maybe the last point is something along the lines of, to me, where I feel like Mike fits in is where I feel like a lot of people that I sort of admire fit into my worldview, which is it appears, and maybe I got this from him, that there are certain truths about the world, right? And certain people, when they dedicate their lives to a certain endeavor, and in one way or another, whether it's scientifically or experience or whatever, kind of are able to either uncover certain truths or organize those truths in a way that to me are almost like undeniable, right? And to clarify, I guess what I mean is, guys I've mentioned on a previous episode, guys like Dave Ramsey or Jocko Willink or Gary Vee. There's these people in their own given field that become kind of the subject matter expert, and what seems evident is that there are certain truths, right? And this is something that Mike talks about, right? Is that if there is, if the human body is subject to physical laws, then there can only be one way, one right way, or one best way to put demands on your body in order to grow muscle. And to me, that really resonated, because, again, with these other disciplines, whether it's personal finance or leadership or marketing, again, and guys like Dave Ramsey, Jocko, and Gary Vaynerchuk, respectively, they uncover like certain truths about their given field, and then that's it. It's just those fundamentals. With Dave Ramsey, when it comes to responsible personal finance and building wealth, there's the 7 baby steps, and there's the it's common sense personal finance. He says sometimes like your grandma teaches it or something like that. It's just old school, very simple things, but they seem like inherent truths in that. And that once you find those, that's, to me, I guess what's interesting is, once you find that person or that set of values that are just like these inherent truths, it's worth diving deep into that content to really absorb it and really learn it, and then you have it, right? And so that was, to me, what was super refreshing about this Mike Mentzer program, was I felt like I had dabbled in a little bit of this, a little bit of that, tried pull-up programs or this, all kinds of different things, and then to finally come across a guy who goes and puts it in such simple terms, but such scientific terms, and undeniable terms, to where you go, okay, the logic behind what this guy's talking about, it's hard to deny. So once it's kind of been like, check, this guy is a credible source and a subject matter expert, now I want to dive into it as deep as I can, because I think having sort of a a bit of control over your own human body is an important thing, and this guy's giving you the tools to do so. So without further ado, God, I'm already 20 minutes in. Hilljack, I apologize if you've even made it this far. I'll maybe mark in the description or something when I actually start talking about my own progress and my own numbers. But I just am so fired up about the Mike Mentzer thing and the program. So let's see. The start of my notepad is just kind of an update. So the date that I started this book was 6/26. So I've only been at it maybe 6 weeks. So there you go. I'm definitely just a little over a month. And the note I put in here is that, hey, back on 5/31, I started a solo lift, and it had been about 4 weeks of about 4 times per week with no real plan. I was kind of trying to rotate between legs, chest, and back, and a couple of weeks on Saturday or Sunday, I would. And even prior to that, I had started back into the gym with a friend from the gym, or a friend from our wrestling and MMA gym. Started back in with the weights with him prior to that. So it's been a bit of a build up. Again, trying to get back in the weight room and trying to figure it out. It's been maybe a few months, and part of this, not to get political, kind of coincided with the state of the world. Weightlifting gyms were shut down, and then even when they opened back up, they were mask Nazis, and it just kind of sucked to go. But I started getting back in on it, and so here we go. So 6/28 was my first workout, and let's see, so the first one that I did was legs and abs, and so this might be just kind of interesting to show even the difference right off the bat. So the leg and abs day is the workout. So it's leg extensions for pre-exhaustion. Immediately jump onto the leg press. Both of these are high intensity, so they're both to 1 set, 2 failure. The rep range that you're kind of shooting for is 12 to 18 reps, and then immediately jump onto the leg press again. 1 set for 12 to 20 reps for both of these, again all the way to failure. And then so you do that in kind of a superset fashion, and then you jump over to standing calf raises, and then to sit-ups, right? And those two are distinct exercises, not done in a superset fashion. So let's just run through it. So the leg extensions for pre-exhaustion. My very first workout, I did 75 pounds and did 18 reps. Yesterday, I did 121 pounds for 13 reps. So a pretty decent jump. Again, totally, noob, beginner gains. Here's the other thing is whenever I've done any kind of lifting, it's been focused a fair amount on squats and deadlifts. So I feel like, my legs are actually decently strong for my size. And and when I'm in it, my legs get, decently muscular. And it's always been my upper body that's been, that I've been unhappy with. So I'm kind of less I could almost to the point where it's I could kind of care less about the leg development at this juncture, because I really want to hey, let's get some barrel chests and some big arms going. So that's just a little bit of a caveat. And then I jumped over to leg press and did 120 pounds for 27 reps, which it looks like I wasn't able to really get to failure on that. So then I jumped up the weight to 220 and got 3 reps out of that. And that one. So now as of the other day, leg press, uh, I jumped in at 240 pounds on the leg press and got to 14 reps. And a note that I made on this last one was, focusing more on the negative. So I think with both of those exercises, I was focusing too much on the positive and letting kind of either my legs swing down on the extensions or just dropping back down on the presses rather than controlling it the whole way. And that's what's kind of nice too about feeling not in a hurry, like feeling like, hey, I'm on the right program. It's gonna happen over time, because my last workout, so just to compare, my last workout I did the same weight for both exercises. I did 121 for 9 reps and then 240 for 10 reps. So again, this one was 121 for 13 reps, and then leg press at 240 for 14 reps. So increased both by 4 reps. And what I will probably do for the next one, because again, it's feeling pretty heavy, and I want to make sure that I'm not using like momentum. So I'll probably hold it at that weight again and just really try and focus on slow movements and getting kind of everything I can out of it. And that's what's cool about realizing, like, okay, hey, what are my goals with this whole thing? And it's honestly, hey, I just want to put on a little bit of muscle. And when I decided that was my goal, then I care a little bit less about the weights. And by this, I mean, the ego. I think it's easier to cancel the ego out and like not do like momentum lifting, because at the end of the day, if I do a momentum lift, or if I'm lifting using momentum and just hucking the weight up, it might make my ego feel good, like, oh cool, I'm moving around this bigger number. But ultimately, if that's not my goal, if the goal is to put on muscle and that's not going to help me towards my goal, it's counterproductive. So let's see. Okay, and then standing calf raises. These ones are great. I did 50 pounds at 14 reps for my first one, and this last workout I did 110 pounds for 16 reps. So those are killer. You just feel that shooting pain all the way up the backside of your legs. Let's see, shoulders. Okay, so shoulders and arms. Let's see, dumbbell. So this is one where I've kind of had to take a couple half steps back to make sure that I was actually kind of controlling the weight properly. So the very first one I did 15 pounds for my lateral raises at 6 reps. This last workout, I did 12 and a half pounds at 10 reps, and I have a note that, hey, it was good form. So now I'm feeling good, like, cool. I'll probably even stay at that weight until I hit 20 pounds and just make sure to maximize each weight bracket. And then for the bent over dumbbell laterals, I did, and these are for 6 to 10 reps. So the fact that I did 10 on the last one means maybe I should jump up. But the bent over laterals, I did 12 and a half pounds at 12, but had a note, hey, I wasn't really going fully back. So this last one, I saw in the book, he shows, let me see if I can find this on the spot. Why am I? Let's see. He shows. Let's see. I'm sure I will find it here. Give me 2 seconds. All right, we're in the ideal workout. I don't even know why I'm fixating on this, but it was like a funny thing that I felt like made a bit of a difference. Here we go. Okay, so for these bent over dumbbell laterals, if you can see, he puts his head, he posts his head on the bench, which to me, I think made a big difference. And like I tried it this last workout and made a big difference in not, again, just being kind of like freely bent over, avoiding any like swinging or momentum. So anyways, hope that was worth the weight. But so the yeah, the bent over ones, I did 12 and a half at 12 reps, but this most recent one did 12 and a half at 11 reps. And I think this is with much better form, slower, more methodical, holding it on the way back and then letting it down. So both of those shoulder exercises I've had to take kind of like throw the ego out and take a half step back, get control of the weight. And now I'm feeling pretty good and feeling like I can start to progress and actually build off that. So then the bicep palms up pull down, I started out with 100 pounds at 7 reps. And this last workout I did 130 pounds at 11 reps. So I was actually, that's I think one of the ones I've been kind of proud or pumped about, because I felt like from the start I've kept it, really under control, not like jerking the weight around. And the last time I remember feeling it, hey, it felt pretty strong. And yeah, so then tricep push downs for pre-exhaustion. The first time I did 40 pounds for 22 reps right into 3 dips. And this last time I did 55 pounds for 8 reps and right into 6 dips. So it looks like I should be ready to jump up in that weight as well. And then there's maybe not enough data for it to be super interesting, because let's see, this next workout will be chest and back, but yeah, it looks like I've literally only done 2 chest and back workouts. So not a whole lot of data to pull from, other than what I can say is this is a freaking brutal chest and back workout. You start with the dumbbell flies and then immediately into an incline press. And I was doing it on the Smith machine, so I didn't kill myself when I failed on the weight. And in this last one, I did 35 pounds for the flies, and have a little note of, hey, was it good form? And so maybe I'll stick at 35, or maybe just go up to 40 and send it, see how it goes. But then right into that incline press, and then the straight arm pull downs to the palms up pull downs are killer, and then the deadlifts are legit. But I've noticed, and this was one I put in one of the TikToks, is for both of the deadlift sets, I didn't necessarily go to failure, which I've been, I was a little disappointed in. Like the first time I started at 225 and got to 17 reps. And I think I might have hit somewhat of form failure. But got to 17, I was like, I don't want to tweak anything or do anything weird, and kind of called it. And then in this most recent one, I did 250 for 5 reps, and have a note in here, not total failure. Again, I think it was one where I was like, man, I was feeling it, didn't want anything to kind of slip or tweak weird. So anyways, exciting stuff, because then this next, I think Wednesday will be my next workout, is another chest and back one. And you already know that's the one I'm looking forward to most. So, I'll wrap it up. Like I said, I tend to ramble on and on, so I won't do like a book review of this yet. I'll save that for a future episode. Again, I kind of just wanted to share some of my numbers. And here's the icing on the cake. Okay, so as I've started this program, and a couple months into being back in the weight room, and then, so 626. I wish I could use my phone to do a calendar, but so 628 was the first workout that I did. So pretty much a month and a week. So we're only 5 weeks in, let's say, and already noticing some progress, which I wasn't necessarily expecting to see anything until maybe 3 or 6 months in, and also again hoping to just sort of implement this as a lifestyle and do it for years and years to come, and just have this be the baseline of, hey, just always just sort of hitting the weights, trying to get stronger, and putting on, like Mike talked about in those phone interviews that I listened to. He said, hey, to put on 5 pounds of muscle a year is an impressive feat. Over 3 to 5, over 5 years, that's 25 pounds of muscle, which he says is very doable. You don't have to change your diet. You don't have to take a bunch of supplements, do anything different or extra. You just eat a well-balanced diet, and then you train in this manner, and you should be able to do that. So without expecting a whole lot out of the program right off the bat, I have been pleasantly surprised and had a few positive feedback. So the numbers, I'd say, are the good immediate gratification to see, hey, either the reps are going up or the weight are going up, or both. And the mirror check already, and it's kind of like typical, I guess, maybe as a young guy, that anytime you start to get back in the weight room, it's pretty quick that mirror check, you start to look at the mirror and see things kind of tightening up, and you're like, yep, this is exactly why I'm doing this. And then even my lady has noticed, and that's, I think, has been something that's, I've gone, oh, okay, cool, we're on the right track. Like, I had started to get skinny fat. I had shoulder surgery maybe 2 years ago now, something like that, maybe a little longer. What was it, August of 19 maybe? So yeah, just about 2 years ago I had shoulder surgery, and that was when I really just started to like get sort of like dumpy and again skinny fat, like started to put on a bit of a belly, had no upper body muscle, bad, super embarrassing. And just the other day, and it got to the point where, again, as I was starting to come out of it, training jiu-jitsu, doing some things to where, okay, I was getting back into being decently fit, but I didn't kind of kick all of that like weight, at least in the different places it had accumulated. I hadn't kicked all that off. And so pretty recently, at that time, my wife would give me shit about, oh, you're, that I've got back fat, or I'm just like got a bit of a belly going, which I still kind of do, but I'm hoping that it just continues to get replaced with muscle. But pretty recently, she was like, "Oh wow, like the back fat is pretty much gone." I'm sure it's still there a little bit, but she was saying, yeah, in the way that it was, pretty much gone. So boom, that was the first one. And then she's made a couple comments where, like the other day, she's like, "Oh, you're starting to look pretty shredded," and then another one was like, "Oh, your arms are starting to look a little bit bigger." So again, these are little wins, and I don't know if she's maybe just trying to gas me up and just trying to pump up my ego to keep me going. But regardless, it's those little things on top of seeing the numbers grow that I go, oh, cool, this, let's keep it going. So, boy, do I know how to stretch maybe a 4-minute thing out into a 40-minute thing. So I'll call it good for now, and see what kind of pops up on the agenda for next week, next Sunday, on a good subject to do the YouTube video on, to do the vlog on. But that being said, again, thanks to the 12 folks who have decided, who have given me the privilege of signing up and joining on to the YouTube channel. And And also thanks again to my friends over on TikTok. Hopefully I get them to migrate over here and check out this video. Um, and yeah, just so we can connect in kind of a longer form way. But again, that's Hill Jack Henry and deadlifts and Dalmatians. So appreciate all you guys, and hope you're all kind of have goals, whether it's fitness, professional, personal, whatever it is. Hope you're all striving and achieving your goals. Let me know. Let's get the comments going. All right, let's get it going in the comments of, hey, what are you working on? What goals are you striving towards? And what kind of healthy lifestyle choices are you making? And again, a caveat to this whole thing, and what I kind of crack myself up about is now I feel like I have the head knowledge on some of these things, having listened to this guy and read most of the book. Haven't even finished the book, because once I got started with the program, I was like, I got it, but I should probably finish the book. But it's funny because I find myself feeling like an expert, but I definitely recognize that I am no expert, and that people who've been doing this way longer, their experience means a lot as well. And so I'm just out here just trying to learn, just trying to better myself, and hope you're all doing the same. So with that, I hope you all have a great evening. Hope you have a great and productive week. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Thanks. Later.